Welcome to our exploration of angular kinematics in human movement. In this lecture, we'll dive into the fascinating world of biomechanics, focusing on how angular and linear velocities are related in the context of human motion. Whether you're an athlete, a student, or simply curious about how our bodies move, understanding these concepts can provide valuable insights into performance and injury prevention. Let's begin by setting the stage for our discussion, highlighting why these relationships matter in everyday activities and sports. Before we delve into the relationship, let's clarify what we mean by angular and linear velocity. Angular velocity refers to how quickly an object rotates around an axis, measured in radians per second. Linear velocity, on the other hand, is the rate at which a point on that object moves along a straight path. Both play crucial roles in biomechanics, especially when analyzing movements like swinging a bat or extending a leg. Understanding these definitions is the first step to grasping their interconnectedness. Now let's examine the core relationship between angular and linear velocity. Essentially, the linear velocity of a point on a rotating body is directly proportional to both the angular velocity and the radius from the axis of rotation. This means that if you increase the angular velocity or the radius, the linear velocity increases as well. This relationship is fundamental in biomechanics and helps explain many movements in sports and daily life. Mathematical formula that connects angular and linear velocity is v equals r times omega. Here v stands for linear velocity, r is the radius, and omega represents angular velocity. This simple yet powerful equation allows us to calculate how fast a point on a rotating object is moving in a straight line, given its distance from the axis and how quickly it's rotating. This formula is widely used in biomechanics to analyze human motion. See this relationship in action. Let's consider a baseball bat. When a player swings the bat, the angular velocity at which it rotates determines how fast the tip of the bat moves. The greater the angular velocity, the faster the tip travels, and consequently the farther the ball will go when struck, assuming all other factors remain constant. This example highlights the practical importance of understanding angular and linear velocities in sports performance. Let's visualize how angular and linear velocities interact. Imagine a rotating wheel. The points farther from the center move faster in a straight line than those near the axis, even though they all share the same angular velocity. This visualization helps us understand why increasing the radius or angular speed boosts linear velocity, a principle that applies to many human movements. Biomechanics, understanding the interplay between angular and linear velocities is crucial for analyzing human movement. Whether it's running, jumping, or throwing, our limbs rotate around joints, and the speed at which they move depends on both angular velocity and the length of the limb. This knowledge is essential for coaches, therapists, and athletes aiming to optimize performance and reduce injury risk. Let's apply these concepts to a practical example, the knee extension exercise. During this movement, the lower leg rotates about the knee joint. By analyzing the angular velocity of the leg and the distance from the knee to the ankle, we can determine the linear velocity of the ankle joint. This approach is commonly used in rehabilitation and sports science to assess movement efficiency. In our example, the lower leg rotates about the knee joint at an angular velocity of 6 radians per second. The distance from the knee joint to the ankle joint is 0.45 meters. Our task is to find the linear velocity of the ankle joint using the formula we discussed earlier. This setup mirrors real-world scenarios in sports and rehabilitation settings. Solve for the linear velocity of the ankle joint, we use the formula v equals r times omega. Plugging in the values, we get v equals 0.45 m times 6 rad s, which equals 2.7 meters per second. This calculation shows how quickly the ankle moves in a straight line during the knee extension exercise, providing valuable data for performance analysis. Result of 2.7 meters per second tells us the speed at which the ankle joint moves during the exercise. This information can be used to assess technique, monitor progress, and even prevent injuries by ensuring movements are performed within safe velocity ranges. Such insights are invaluable for trainers and therapists working with athletes or patients. Here's a visual representation of the knee extension exercise, showing the rotation about the knee and the resulting linear velocity at the ankle. Visual aids like this help bridge the gap between theoretical concepts and real-life movement, making it easier to understand and apply biomechanical principles. This diagram breaks down the calculation step by step, illustrating how the radius and angular velocity combine to produce the linear velocity at the ankle. Such diagrams are essential tools in education, helping students and professionals visualize the process and reinforce their understanding of the underlying mechanics. Understanding the relationship between angular and linear velocities has broad applications in sports and rehabilitation. Coaches use these principles to enhance athletic performance, while therapists apply them to design effective recovery programs. By quantifying movement, professionals can tailor interventions to individual needs, ensuring optimal outcomes. Wrap up, we've explored the fundamental relationship between angular and linear velocities in human movement. We've seen how these concepts are applied in real-world scenarios, from swinging a bat to performing a knee extension. By understanding and applying these principles, we can improve performance, prevent injuries, and deepen our appreciation for the mechanics of the human body.